Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rangers Review Morning Briefing. It is Friday, the 8th of August. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined this morning by Stevie Clifford. How's it going, Stevie?
Yeah, mate. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It is teaming it down here, Derek. It's pretty wild. It's not a nice day. Just as well, I've only been awake for about 5 minutes, but I'm ready to go.
Well, good to have you on. Got to say, your show with Chris, the talking point went down really well yesterday. If you've not watched it, folks, it's on YouTube just now, where Chris and Stevie discuss the Hampden issue. Of course, the first home match, shall we say, taking place tomorrow against Motherwell. So I'd urge you to go and have a watch of it. Some good comments coming in from off the back of that. It's I think you guys are going to do it as a sort of bi-weekly show, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's the plan. So it's just we'll pick a topic for discussion. For example, next time it might be about the CEO chase, or it might be about the current squad situation. It might be a deeper look at the financial stuff. It can be whatever, what one, people want to hear about, and two, what is the biggest kind of thing. So, obviously, Hampden's been the biggest discussion point of the summer, Derek. So, Chris thought that was a good place to start, and that's what we did. So, I hope it went down well. I hope it was good for people. And we'll mix it up, Chris and I. Don't want to be in too much where it's just Chris asking all the stuff. Next time, it might be me asking the stuff to Chris, and we'll break it up and we'll mix it up a wee bit so that it's enjoyable for folk. But if people did check it out and enjoyed it, great. If you haven't and you're going to, then brilliant, because it'll give you a good wee half-hour listen, part of the day. But, it is all about Hampden tomorrow for Rangers, and the rest of it we just put aside and try and get the 3 points. So that's what we'll concentrate on.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's hope Rangers do get that first league win tomorrow. Before we look to the game and potential team selection, let's just discuss a Rangers player, news emerging from South America over in Brazil, that Jose Cifuentes has had his loan with Cruzeiro terminated, cut short. It was a year-long loan. He went out there, I think it was around February time. He has only made 3 appearances for Cruzeiro in the league over there in Brazil. Hasn't worked, and that loan is now been terminated. It's been reported over there in Brazil. So he, by all accounts, heading back. Whether he comes back to Glasgow or not, who knows? We know he was heavily linked with a move when the Connor Goldson news was emerging with Aris Thessaloniki, not the same club that Goldson went to, but that the Greek version Aris were linked with a move for Cifuentes. Stevie, we've never seen much of Jose Cifuentes, of course. It never quite worked for him coming over from Los Angeles. He struggled to adapt. No surprise to see him moved out the first opportunity. I thought it would work for him over there, heading closer, obviously, to his homeland of Ecuador, but it hasn't quite happened for him. And this is another player that Rangers are going to have to try and ship out.
Yeah, it's a pity. I thought we were getting short of him, probably like everybody else, with that 5 million kind of clause to buy. I knew that was too good to be true, to be honest, but maybe there's something lined up for him to go elsewhere. I don't think we would have allowed them to cancel any loans without something going on in the background, Derek. And if they have cancelled it, they've probably paid, a cancellation fee and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that one, certainly. It hasn't worked out for him. I think Michael Beale described him as the missing link, didn't he? Yeah. The one that was going to put it all together. And sadly, aside of what I thought was a fairly decent 45 minutes out in Betis, and then he went off injured, and that was the beginning of Dujon Sterling in his midfield role. So I think maybe it worked out for the best that way. But aside of that, we never really seen anything of Jose Cifuentes that got us excited. Of course, he was sent off, wasn't he, at home to Dundee, which was then later ruled that he shouldn't have been sent off, and he never really had an opportunity to really nail down his position, but I don't think he showed as much either. So it's just another one, Derek. Add it to the list of another 4, 5, 6 others that need to be put out of the club, and we need to try and recoup money for and make sure we don't make the same mistakes again. Every transfer is a gamble, but I remember saying at the time that I'd recently just kind of watched a wee bit of the US League and stuff like that, and I was really excited by Ricky Puig, the boy that I seen for I can't even remember.
You were out there, weren't you?
Yeah, I can't even remember who it is I seen live, and he was excellent. I remember talking to Scarfield about him, and he really was a terrific player. But I remember saying that the game was really slow and it was really kind of uneventful, and that's the way American football is. So he's came over to a country where it's all kick and rush, and I'm not really surprised that he hasn't settled too much. But so much for the missing link, and you'll just need to be, as I said, no disrespect to the boy, just didn't suit our country, certainly didn't suit Rangers, and we just need to move him on, just like, as I said, like 4 or 5 other.
Yep, I remember when Ali Bain, who's been on a few Q&As, lives over there in America. He said that he'd be a real cracking signing for Rangers because he watched him a number of times for LAFC, but for whatever reason, I think there's a number of reasons why it never worked for him at Rangers. So like you say, Stevie, you'd like to think that the club will have something lined up for him, given that that loan has been terminated. Another player that's heading for the departure door is Todd Cantwell, of course. Me and you were in that press room, Stevie, down in Birmingham when the manager came in and got the Cantwell situation off his chest. Reports in Turkey suggest that Trabzonspor, who are turning into sort of Rangers Mark II, are in talks with Cantwell about a potential switch. He could team up with Borna Barisic and John Lundstrom over there. It would be a bit surprised to see that happening, but apparently officials from Trabzonspor, according to these reports, were jetting over to speak with Cantwell's representatives about a move to Turkey. He's another one that needs to be offloaded. Stevie, can you see him starring in a Trabzonspor midfield?
See, at this rate, Trabzonspor will be trying to sign Broxy Bear next. Everybody, aren't they? So, listen, Todd Cantwell doesn't want to play for Rangers.
Yeah.
So I've got really no concerns about where he goes as long as he goes. As heartless as that might sound, he's just taking up a space and a wage for somebody else that we need to get in. And it's the same with Yanis Hadji. It's the same with Jose Cifuentes. There'll be another few on his list, I've no doubt. Guys like Ben Davies, Rabbi Matondo and things like that. If there was bids for these guys and clubs were happy, they would be moved on also. So there's still half a dozen that can go out there that Rangers won't really miss. And no disrespect to Todd Cantwell. He came and he promised a lot and never really hit the heights that he should have for many reasons, I think. But it's not a good look, I don't think, for him when, Norwich, there was these questions about attitude. He comes up here and again he's had issues and now he's choosing to bail out and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just all a bit of a shame. But ultimately, ruthlessly, he's taken up a place that somebody far more effective in this squad could be using, Derek. So, best of luck to him. If it's Trabzonspor he goes, he can be pals with Borna and Lunny again, good for him. But as long as he goes, as heartless as it might sound, then it's the best thing for us, and it's best that he moves on as quickly as possible.
Yep, I just hope Rangers get a decent fee for him as well. Trabzonspor, incidentally, lost 1-0 to Rapid Vienna last night in their Europa League qualifier. They were at home, so it looks like they could be heading out of the competition at an early stage. John Lundstrom played that game. Bona came off the bench. Other reports as well, as I've seen over the last day or so, Stevie, is Alex Lowry. Apparently Rangers would be open to offers for Alex for him to move on and get game time elsewhere. He's a player we've spoke about on a number of shows now. Don't think it's going to happen for him at Rangers, in all honesty. He's, of course, he's had the injury situations to deal with, situations off the park as well, which would have been difficult for him with a bereavement. And we've seen flashes that he's a talented lad, but I just think it's not going to happen for him at Rangers. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him moving on as well. When you talk about Cantwell, Stevie, is Alex Lowry one you think what might have been?
Yeah, undoubtedly. I think Alex has got real potential. Or does he have real potential? Because it's maybe not worked out. What I mean is, at times he's looked like an exciting player. He's given us reason to believe there might be something there in flashes. But sadly for Alex, it's just never really worked. And I don't want to seem harsh. Alex is a boy I really like, but I watched him in that Birmingham friendly, Derek, same as you. We almost sat next to each other at that game, and for that 45 minutes, he couldn't have looked less interested in a Rangers jersey. We both said it at half time. He just looked, his attitude and the way he was kind of working, he just looked like he didn't want to be there, or he looked like a boy that had maybe been told his future wasn't there, or whatever reason. He just didn't hit it off that night. And I remember when he got whipped off at half time, thinking that it wasn't a great sign because, for his first real outing in pre-season, for him to get whipped off that early, it's not great and it doesn't look good for him. And if this is true, and if he has been told that he's time to move on, then it's really sad because Alex Lowry, had the world at his feet, ended up going to Hearts, basically got kicked out of Hearts and told to return to Rangers. Returned to Rangers has, kind of been about for 6 months, injured, not doing very much. And then pre-season, you would expect him to come back. Attitude, fitness, everything in the right place. That number 10 position, Derek's up for grabs. Like, it's there. Literally, there's so many players that you're looking at thinking, not really. And none of them have taken it on, like Cantwell, Hadji, Lowry. None of them have made that effort, you would imagine, to try and get that position. So it's probably for the best that Alex does go in that regard. But, it's a real shame, and somebody will wish all the best to if that does happen. But again, for Rangers, harsh as it may be, if Alex is taking up a position in that squad, the same as Todd Cantwell, that somebody else can be using, that's more productive for Rangers, then he needs to move on. As sad as that may be, as ruthless as that may be, Rangers cannot afford anymore to stockpile players, Derek. The squad's too big as it is.
Yeah.
If there's guys there that aren't benefiting our first team, and there's half a dozen. And listen, by the way, see if your managers had a look at Matondo during last week and then midweek deciding to bring on a left back at left wing because he thinks he might be a wee bit more than what he's seen in Rabbi Matondo. I think that speaks volumes where Rabbi Matondo is as well. So there's positions there, Derek. There's players there on too much money, on big contracts and things that we need to ship out and turn around. So it's a shame for Alex Lowry. I'm not putting him in the same brackets as the big earners and stuff because he won't be, but he's still a boy that if he's not going to succeed here, we need to move on. And I just hope wherever he goes, he can click and, it maybe not be the end of his Rangers career in terms of somebody returning. Maybe we can get a sale on, a buyback, all those kind of things if we're sensible. But he really needs to go and take an opportunity elsewhere, doesn't he?
I agree. He's 21 years of age now. He has to be playing football. Some comments on Lowry. First, Kenny says, lost my mum 3 weeks ago, so I have a lot of sympathy for Alex. Hope he can find peace and have a good career going forward. Sorry to hear that, Kenny. So condolences to yourself and your family for that. But yeah, it's very difficult, of course. CGM 55, the point. Where does Lowry go? Not sure anyone in Scotland will touch him after the Hearts loan. Well, he got injured, so I think there's a number of clubs that would be happy to have Alex Lowry as part of their squad. It wouldn't surprise me to see him ending up at a club in the Scottish Premiership or indeed down south as well. I think he can do a job for a number of teams. Moving on from that, it was, of course, a big game tomorrow, Stevie, against Motherwell. We're all expecting to see Robin Proper at some point. I expected him to start in midweek, and the manager opted to go for Leon Balogun and John Souttar. Start with the back line. Can you see any alterations to the team from the one that started against Dynamo Kyiv on Tuesday evening? I'm wanting Proper in there for John Souttar. Do you agree?
Yeah, probably I do, actually. I've spoken about this in the last few days, and I think John Souttar was uncharacteristically really bad on the ball midweek, especially the first half. He seemed to fix it, and I think the manager seemed to fix it. So was Jack Butland, by the way. See the amount of times he was just shelling it forward, especially in that first half. Like, going to stop it, Jack. So, and there was a lot of times it was just coming straight back. So I think that's an area possibly that we need to have a look at. And the thing with Balogun is he brought a wee bit of strength, he brought a wee bit of pace and composure to that back line during the week that I liked. Ben Davies, again, is just right down the bottom of the pecking order for me. I thought that he, excuse me, got a bit of a torrid time with the boy last week for Hearts up front, didn't he? So, and he was getting out muscled. Like, he's a wee guy, and the wee guy was terrorising him. I know he's got a bit of pace, and the boy, I can't remember his name, it must be. It's falling away from me at the moment. I keep getting it mixed up with Venti at Hibs, but it's not obviously that. I can't remember the boy's name. I can see his face, but he gave him a really hard time, Derek, and even, you know, pushing him off the ball in a physical battle and all that. And that to me, I'm just looking at it thinking, well, you're now just automatically behind Suter, behind Balogun, behind Proper already. And Ben Davies is somebody that does that. I remember, Derek, we were on after that Kilmarnock game where we won 3-2 under Michael Beale up there, and I says we got real problems with Ben Davies and the physical aspect, and he's nice and he's tidy positionally. I remember doing an article on it, and it caused absolute furor online. People were saying that. Don't know if you remember. People were saying
the Davis article.
Yeah, the Ben Davis article, and people were saying, you know, that I was clueless and all sorts of stuff. And here we are, you know, sitting in the position. And if you ask everybody would say the same thing. So it's an interesting one. I just had reservations about Ben Davies from the very, very start as a player that I don't think is good enough for our football club in terms of, you know, the pace and the power and things that we need in a centre half for Scotland. Nice player, tidy, positionally okay. Is he worth the outlay that we give him? Absolutely not. So he's somebody that needs to be moved on. As for tomorrow, yeah, proper starts for me. He has to start John Suter or Balogun, whatever one he comes in for. Balogun, you know, at his age, they might decide that they need him for Tuesday more. They might decide that John Suter is okay or might be better with a leader like Proper in next to him. But they, you know, listen, Proper needs to play, Derek. Whoever he comes in for is largely immaterial, I think. You know, and understand, protect him, understand he's been in and out of the country, and largely it's worked okay because they have more or less got away with it in midweek by not playing him. But now he needs to start. He needs to be in our centre defence for that return leg. He needs to play on Saturday as well. And let's get him in as soon as possible. So definitely that change. Ridvan, I wouldn't be starting anybody else ahead of him. Yeah, he had a poor mistake during the week. Tav, I thought, was really good during the week. It would be nice to give him some minutes off tomorrow if we can maybe get 60 minutes out of Tav. Leon King could come in if Dujon is going to play central mid and stuff like that. You know, we would hope that somebody asked me last night on my own pod, you know, what selection would you go for? I would go as strong as I possibly could. We've got five substitutes, Derek. Go and get the game won. You know, Motherwell are coming. They don't have their big players from last year, Theo Bair, Blair Spittle and that. They've all gone. I think they've got 8 first-team players out tomorrow as well. Cantwell was talking about. You know, I think they'll sit in and Rangers need to go and take that game to them and get that game won. They'll be up for it. You know, Hampden, it's an open venue, etc. But we need to go and get that one. Go and get it won and then make your changes. You've got 5 subs, Derek. You know what I mean? You're not going to make 5 changes to the starting lineup. So go and change that up. You know, you get the game won and then you can go and change it after 60 minutes. But really important tomorrow, Rangers go and set the right tempo and the right attitude from word go and begin to flip the narrative because they've got a real opportunity to do so. You win tomorrow, you get past Kyiv, you know, then you've got another couple of games at Hampden. You know, could you get a couple of players out? Could you get a couple of players in? You begin to flip that narrative quite a bit, Derek, and you know, then maybe get a stadium update and stuff. I spoke about this on the show yesterday, so it's a real half glass full either way kind of, you know, position at the moment for Rangers. But they've got an opportunity to really change it up and not fix things. That's the wrong term because Hearts wasn't a great chance, but they've got an opportunity to really kick on and liven up the support's mood, I think, going forward.
Yep. Thanks to a load of you and Jamie Brown and others who said it was Vargas who was giving Davis a torrid time. So thank you for that. And just on the back four, on Balogun in particular, William with a point. Can we afford to play Balogun the full game tomorrow? We can't overuse him this early and then picking up an injury, which I totally get. I think I said that I'd like to see Proper coming in for Suter, but like you, Stevie, I think you'd like to think John Suter would be able to withstand anything that Motherwell will be throwing at Rangers tomorrow. You mentioned a number of players are out injured, not available. I think Lennon Miller's a doubt as well. So, Rangers should be going out there. And as a comment said a few minutes ago, flying out the traps, I would like to see, get an early goal and then push on. That is the aspiration, as John Bennett would say anyway, so hopefully they can go out and do the business. Big welcome to the wonderful username Crazy Mofo, who's become a YouTube member. Thank you for joining us up. And William has very kindly donated 5 Rangers Review memberships as well. Thank you, William. That is very kind of you to do so. Loads of you, if you want to take one up, you get 3 to 5 extra videos per week. You get videos early released as well, like Stevie and Chris's show yesterday was out on the Rangers Review Extra channel before being released later on that evening. You can also, there's a video as well that I spoke to Ian Stewart and Davy Heard on their new book on Tory Gillick, who is a proper bona fide Rangers legend. Their book is being officially released at the We Rangers Club a week today from 1 p.m. If you can make it along, please do so. And you can pre-order copies on Amazon and the likes as well. But I spoke to both about Tory and the book itself, so you can go and find that on the Extra channel as well. Moving on from defence in midfield, Stevie, I thought that Connor Barron continues to impress me. Him and Diomande are in midfield, obviously. Then you playing... I would personally, we talked about the number 10, I would personally scrap the 10. Tomorrow I can understand playing with a 10. Tom Lawrence probably would be the only candidate to play in that position, do you reckon? Or do you maybe push Diomande up there and put Sterling and Barron in the middle?
No, I would give Sterling again half an hour tomorrow. Let him come in with the aspiration, I think, that word again, to maybe start Sterling during the week against Kiev. So I would stick with the same 3 that started. I think Barron has done well. It'd be nice to see Connor Barron not having to run 30 miles in one game just because we can't keep a hold of the ball. So that would be an interesting kind of another John Bennett famous word, caveat to how we play tomorrow. We should have a lot more of the ball, shouldn't we? In theory, we shouldn't be chasing as much. So it gives Diomande and Barron a chance. Tom Lawrence will have plenty of opportunities, I think, to shoot tomorrow. I think, packed defence, we probably need that difference. So I would keep Tom Lawrence. And by the way, Tom Lawrence did really, really well for the goal during the week. Just a really nice touch by Dessers, wasn't it? But the important thing was that Lawrence didn't hold on to it, overplay it. He just very quickly realised it, just flipped this on. And he did. So then he kept his run going to get numbers in the box as well. So yeah, Tom Lawrence, I thought, did okay-ish at times during the week. I'm still waiting for Tom Lawrence. I've said that quite a few times. So hopefully, he has said privately that he's in the best shape he can be, and he's had a great pre-season and stuff, and he's ready to go. So, Tom Lawrence, if we can get him contributing, we'll score goals and get numbers. So he starts tomorrow. I think the wings are the big question, Derek, because Big Cyril's going to start up top, isn't he? Because there isn't really anybody else. And Danilo would be nice to give him 15, 20 minutes tomorrow. So Igamani, I think, probably St Johnstone at home in the cup, you would look to give him some minutes as well. But Cyril starts. So who's the 3 behind him? Lawrence, I think, is your 10. Who starts on the left? You're basically throwing something against the wall and hoping it sticks. Hefty's probably the one you would want in. I think he's done enough to merit that. And then on the right hand side, again, it's a toss up, isn't it? Ross McCausland did okay. I think maybe he would be the one that would start with Czerny coming on again for the last half an hour, etc. Scott Wright can be decent at Hampden, but at some point you've got to just admit Scott Wright's had about 3,500 chances in the Rangers jersey and not really taken one of them. So it's disappointing. And people ask, why does Scott Wright try to start and why is he so always about. Scott Wright's amazing in training.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of players that have told me Scott Wright's absolutely dynamite in training and unbelievable, and Brandon Barker syndrome really just gets on the pitch and can't produce over what he's kind of producing in training. So, you know, I think there was a few players during the week that didn't take their opportunity. Scott Wright was one. On the whole, everybody else was kind of, you know, I thought we did well against Kyiv. I'm not going to change your position on that, but some other players put themselves more in the window than others for future appearances, Derek. So I think your wings is your big question tomorrow. You know, where does he change it up? By the way, Keane Dowell was okay. I thought Keane Dowell did okay on the ball at Tynecastle and also midweek. Could he be used more as an 8 in that midfield left side? Could he kind of sit in there? Would he maybe come into the managers thinking if Diomande and Barron are knackered, you know? So just to touch on something as well, Derek, I hope you don't mind, we deviate slightly onto Mohamed Diomande. I've seen people criticise him this last week and say, you know, he's gone missing and he's not this and he's not that. And I thoroughly disagree with that. I really do. And here's my reasoning. See if Diomande didn't have to do so much running, like for everybody else. Yeah. And I think, you know, the amount of running and positional covering he's doing, the amount of tracking, the amount of second balls he's trying to win, the amount of recoveries, you know. There was 2 incidents during the week in the first half. One where he laid it off to Tom Lawrence and played on and should have been slipped in. He wasn't. Another one we broke 4 in attack, passed it to Dessers. And Dessers somehow, with everybody 5 yards around him, managed to hit the only place that he couldn't pick anybody out, didn't he? And it kind of went in between. I think genuinely Diomande is a player. I think he's got a terrific footballing ability. I think there's skill there. And I would like to just see him being able to dictate the ball a wee bit more and us having to do less chasing. So I'm not for criticising Mohamed Diomande. I think, you know, this is what I was talking about. I think this is what I was talking about the other day when, you know, somebody gives an opinion on something at Rangers. Clement doesn't have tactics, let's get him out. James Tavernier's this, that, and everything else. Mohamed Diamande's not a footballer. Sometimes when people say it, it becomes truth and people just follow that line. And I think that I would like to see people properly watch Mohamed Diomande and realise what he does give to Rangers. I think he's a cracking player. Get the setup right around him, which I'm not sure it quite is at the moment. Get that set up around him. Maybe Barron, Sterling, Diomande might allow him a lot more time on the ball to influence the game a wee bit more. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again if he does play tomorrow and if he is fit enough to start, etc. Because I really believe in him. I think he is a really cracking prospect. And got to remember he's still young. There is going to be games where he drifts in and out and he's not as prominent. But that's my wee pitch anyway for Mohamed Diomande. See if he stinks it up tomorrow, Derek, then it's not my fault.
Yeah, listen, I think the criticism is undue as well. And just off the back of that, a comment from Joe, he says, I'm in between work calls, so not a lot of time to join in mornings, but your point on Wednesday about over-the-top criticism was absolutely spot on, Stevie, and I was glad to hear it. You can read Stevie's piece over on the website this morning, folks, and the link is in the description below this video as well. But Diomande is a top player. For me, he's someone I think we should just appreciate while he's here. If we can get a couple of seasons out of him and sell him on for a profit, then I think that is what the player trading model is all about. But big fan of Mohamed Diomande. Right, I think we'll wrap up there. I agree with that team, incidentally. I would have Jefty over on the left-hand side. I thought he was excellent when he came on.
Wouldn't mind that at all, Derek. So,
Yeah, absolutely deserves to start on Saturday. And on the right, I think Czerny still somewhat off in fitness, but if you can get maybe a half or 30 minutes, I think I'd be quite content with that. I'd be quite happy with Ross McCausland over on the right-hand side. If you disagree, folks, let us know in the comments. We'll do our predicted lineups later on, I'd imagine. That might be out tomorrow morning, so you can fire abuse at me for my hot takes, no doubt. But just a heads up as well, today is the press conference day, so we will hear from the manager and whatever player Rangers put up for the press, so it will be interesting to hear from both. And of course, was also told after tomorrow's game, of course, that the second leg against Kyiv on Tuesday coming, it will be, for those of you that can't make it to Hampden, Rangers were keen to make it available to as many supporters as possible, hence why they have struck a deal with the BBC. So the match will be shown live on the BBC Scotland channel, also on the BBC iPlayer as well. So they were keen to stress that they were hoping to make the match available to as many supporters as possible, hence the reason why BBC and not another broadcaster was selected to show that game. So yeah, there you go. Right, that'll do us there. Big thanks to Stevie. Prediction for tomorrow, Stevie, how's it going to turn out?
I was just about to ask you if we were going to do that. I fancy Tom Lawrence to score tomorrow, and I'll take Rangers to win 2-0 comfortably. I would say, do you know what? See if I was really confident about the amount of goals, I would maybe go for a 3-0, but I think 2-3-0 is where we'll be tomorrow, first win of the season. So, yep, fingers crossed. I realise Motherwell will be a tricky opponent. I really like, actually, Cantwell, the manager. I think he sets them up really well. So we need to be wary of his ability. But back the team to win tomorrow. What about you, Derek?
I think it's going to be tight. I'm going to go 2-1. I think Rangers will get over the line. I don't think it's going to be scintillating or anything like that. But the 3 points is all important. So as long as Rangers acquire those, then I will be satisfied. I can assure you of that.
You got a goal scorer in there?
I'm going to go with Dessers to score and Tavernier penalty.
Do you know what? That's funny. I was just thinking about a Tavernier penalty as well, you know. So it's about time we had Scottish football up in arms. So I hope it's a terribly soft one as well, Derek. I hope, do you know what? In fact, I hope it's the exact same as Connor Barron's last week. Just and we get it just to upset everybody. It's been too quiet this week. Yes. So let's get everybody upset. 3 points in the bag and then look forward to that.
Yeah, let's hear those 3 magic words tomorrow. A big thanks as well to Bluebells or Blues. Also gifted 5 Rangers Review memberships. Thank you very much for that. That is fantastic stuff. Brilliant generosity on the show this morning, guys. Thank you. Right, that'll do us there. We'll speak to you later on. We'll have the press conference reaction video later after we hear from the manager. So we'll speak to you then. If not, enjoy your Friday and bye for now.